What I'm saying today is totally redundant, no use. So even if you teach the river writing, it's totally waste of time. So there are things which are once upon a time useful and later with change of time irrelevant. So what we're doing, it should be the really of profound meaning, and where don't think that oh it must have profound meaning. You have to learn, you have to ask. Don't feel number one, don't feel scared to ask. Number two, don't feel complacent. Okay, yeah, it's this is how it used to be done, so it's okay, it must be correct. No, don't remain and say the complacent, happy about yourself. It's like you have to ask questions. So why? And then we sometimes, for example, say that the person A may give the answer, it may not be too satisfactory. Go to person B. Person B gives the answer, you may not be happy. Go to person C. So keep learning things, and finally, when you're very confident that this doesn't make any sense, discard it. So, for example, okay, now to make it real quick, often lights, say these are all what is physically happening related to our psyche. Physically happening, let's say that in Scandinavian countries, they say anybody from Scandinavian countries? Israel and the Scandinavian countries, no one. So in the Scandinavian countries, it says that the winter, wet, cold, dark, mind very gloomy. You understand it? But how many of their experience? Winter short, dark, light short, dark, long time, gloomy, cold, and mind feels so foggy, low, resent. How many have their experience? Okay, England, yes. Singapore, no.
I lived in UK also.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that, so there, when the light is short, the human psyche it goes well with the light. So with the dark, your mind tends to shrink and feel gloomy and low. So therefore the light, it just makes your heart light up. So uplifted. This is so important. So what makes us feel low is the darkness. And darkness is the metaphor for the ignorance. And the Buddha indicated that ignorance is the root of all problems. So how to get rid of the darkness is only through introducing light, not through blessings, not through the Buddha touching your head. In fact, yesterday, not 2 days ago, when Venerable was asking many class being cancelled, Geshe, but how to make sure the day of life is not cancelled? What can Buddhas to recite? I replied, ha ha ha. I replied, ha ha ha. You're getting it? Which means we should be very practical. Right? Prepare for the second option, third option. Plan B, plan C, plan D. Don't just say mantra, which should be very realistic. So, to remove the ignorance, to remove the darkness, only through lighting the lamp. Not by something touching you and then you become like this. There are some stories here. There are many stories from different religions. So actually, there happens they should touch, the tongue. His tongue. Touch all these people who are playing in the powerful world. They themselves are suffering under tongue. And they say that we can touch somebody and change somebody. And they are suffering from the dangers of suffering under Trump. So this is the contradiction. So that we should be realistic with the thought, we should be extremely realistic. So with this mind, lighting a lamp, visualize that we're illuminating the lamp of the wisdom to dispel the darkness of ignorance. And the Buddha indicated that ignorance is the root of all the problems. And in the course of all these the next few days of teaching, it revolves around that, how ignorance is the root of the problem and how the ignorance deceives us. And that must be combated by the wisdom. So the debate between the ignorance and the wisdom. is for this reason, that how we are suffering is all because of the ignorance. And until, for example, they bring the light, the darkness cannot be eradicated just by saying that Om Mani Padme Hum, the darkness disappears. No, it never disappears. So Om Mani Padme Hum is a supplement to reinforce the heart, to reinforce the heart and to bring the light inside the heart. And external light depends on external. So internal darkness should be eradicated by internal light. So external light is symbolic, as a reminder for us that the internal light must be activated. And these two are very closely connected. But external light, instantly you feel light. And if you have no idea what that is like, then it's good to go to the places like Scandinavian countries, or where the winter is very long. No, the darkness is very long, and the nights very long, and very cold, chilly, gloomy, everything so quiet. Your mind also drops. So you go there, then you will appreciate what light is. So with this mind, when you offer this light, just imagine that you're offering this light to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. And imagine that it's not only you offering the light, but you and all your family members, including children, your parents, and all the sentient beings are offering lights. And light also not just once, but innumerable, infinite number of lights. Think of that. So the benefit will be way, way, way more. There'll be much more benefit in us. Okay, so with this mind, let's come to offer the lights. Yes, and all these, I'll also explain this, but please distribute this quickly. The young ones, some young ones. Okay, if you can quickly open the book, and it should be on page 8. It should be on page 8. Okay, page 8. Is it on page 8?
Yes,
with folded hands. Okay, so when we offer the lights, they say to make it extremely effective. And you can also ask what is meant by effective in this context. You can ask this question also. Say to make it very effective, what you do is that the physical view offer the light, mentally you imagine all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and imagine your parents, your children, all the sentient beings, even all these tiny insects, trillions of insects around us, visualize all of them. And then in terms of lights, innumerable lights, and do this visualization. And then verbally as well, we will physically be offer the light, mentally we think about these, and then verbally we recite this verse with folded hands. Do you see that? Can you see that? On page 8, is it there?
Yeah.
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. So the light of Dharma is the wisdom. The light of the wisdom. Okay, with this mind, let's all come forward. While others are offering, those who are having the book, you recite this, and then the others, those who offered, you come down and continue to recite it. Okay, with folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. Okay, please take seats. Okay, how many of you have actually attended such retreats, meaning retreats with me? Raise your hands. Okay, raise your hands those who it's the first time retreat with me. Okay, it's like half. Okay, so given that there are some who are doing the retreat for the first time with me here, I'm going to quickly explain to you what we do in these retreats. So retreats doesn't mean that it's the same everywhere. It can be different even within the retreats which I conduct. It can vary sometimes, and depending on the places, the people, and the subject that we are going to study. So, generally speaking, and I would say that for this group as well, the text per se, the text is the very important text, extremely important text, and it is already like a PhD program. And then we are like undergrad, and undergrad jumping to PhD. So we require a lot of the background information, without which the text will not make much sense and will not be of much benefit for us. We should know what exactly is ignorance, and for this in the monastic universities, and those people who know me so well, you know what I'm going to say. Those in the monastic universities, they study to get this background information to prepare oneself to learn this text. You require a lot of information, for which in the monastic universities, the monks and the nuns, particularly the monks in the olden times, they spent about like minimum 10 years. Every day studying for like minimum 10 hours a day. And that too, very rigorous debate, not just study meaning it's a passive reading, but actually contemplating, meditating, debating, attending classes, and memorizing the text and so forth. So we require a lot of the background information, which means studies. For that, so if I don't do that, then the benefit will be much less, except for those people who already attended, like the Shirabla, NDC1, NMC1, NMC, yes. Anyone from NMC1? NMC1? Only one, okay, NMC1. And me? No. Okay. Well, the Umarla, NMC1. Okay, beginning meaning dropped. But don't worry, even people say that even Einstein was also dropped out. So don't worry. Okay, so what I'm saying is that those people who did NMC1 and NDC 1, 2, 3, 4. So okay, those of us from NDC 1, 2, 3, 4, make sense? NDC 1, 2, 3, 4, not the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for you, even if I teach directly, it makes sense. But for many of us who are not introduced to the concept of emptiness in more detail, this will be quite a complicated text. While if you do have the background information, that's going to be extremely interesting. You can see that actually it's happening with yourself, and how the emotions, the different emotions, they torture us. They literally torture us. For example, like anger, sometimes you become so helpless. What do you do? So you are trapped in such a situation where that you cannot go A, you can do, no, can you go minus A? So we're trapped in such a situation, and then no help from outside, and you feel so desperate. So is there a solution? Answer is yes, the solution is there. So what's happening? There's always a solution. Only thing is that sometimes we require, patience. And the best of the solution is twofold. One is that cognitively you have to change. You have to bring about a cognitive transformation, meaning that what you think, cognitively you think, which means intellectually what you think, that must be changed. So when you say intellectually, some people, they may think that, okay, intellectual, this is like academic. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong in the academic, there's nothing wrong in the intellectual. Intellectual is so important. So meanwhile, the other side is the affective thinking, like compassion, sense of the contentment, and so forth. And then all these things must come from the sense of, with this, these two things should be imbued with this sense of patience. We require a sense of patience. At times, for example, like to
to have this beautiful center. In fact, I personally, feel just by coming here, I feel so calm, and this very special place. But just imagine how long it took for this place to come to this beautiful, the beauty. It took many years, 20 years, more than 20 years. So likewise, there are things which are not so important. Some things are very important. Those things which are not so important, we do not require much effort. You can expect things to happen very quickly. But those things which are extremely important and oftentimes very noble task require a lot of time. We should have patience. So nowadays, particularly the young ones, I don't know whether if there's anybody who qualifies to this when I say young one, meaning somebody who seems to just born with the gadgets. Born with the gadgets. The parents are into the gadgets. Child born and seeing the parents in the gadget, and the child also learns this. So these people, the patience is so less. Patience so less. Attention span is so less. Just 2 days ago, I was asked to give a talk to the small children, class 3, 4, 5. Class 3, 4, 5, age between I think like 7, 8 till like 11. And when I invite questions, everybody's happy to ask questions. The moment, for example, like Chelsea, she maybe, let's say she was like 7 or 8, and she asked a question to me. Once a question, good questions asked, good question asked, and the moment I start giving the answer, her job is done. She's distracted, not listening to me at all. And not only one person, everyone, anybody who asks question, they think their job is to ask a question. And once the question is asked, now the job is the other students. Their job is to listen to him, and my job is done. And they're distracted. Everyone, literally everyone. This is not the mistake of the children. This is a mistake in the wrong upbringing of the children. The parents themselves got up with the kids all the time and then tell the child not. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. This is how, this mistake of the parents. Mistake of the parents, you have a huge responsibility over the children. So therefore, if you do that and tell the children don't do it, it's not acceptable. It's not wise. It's not acceptable. If you truly love your child, you have love, meaning you have to have a little bit of a sacrifice. Even though you are after the gadgets, sacrifice a little bit of the gadget, hold a book, read the book, cuddle hold the child. So these things are required. Okay, so in short, what I'm doing is what we're going to do here is that there are several things. The book that you have, this book, this is this is a free distribution for you, not from Tibet House. There are very kind donors, generous donors. Brother Alvin and Sister Christy from Singapore, two of them. Since a long time ago, they have been constantly supporting the production of these books, reprint of this book, and where the instruction is that wherever such retreats are happening, all the retreatants, participants in the retreats, they will get this book for free to be sponsored by two of them. And then later there is a gentleman by Mr. Sonam. He came here? No. Mr. Sonam, the Chinese name is Mr. Law, from Singapore. He also offers some donations to publish more books. So the book that you have in your hand, this is your copy. Keep it for yourself, and let us pray for those donors, kind donors who so kindly made this accessible to all the retreatants for free. And then meanwhile, this book is something that we need to carry with us. Almost like wherever you travel, meaning wherever you are in the campus for the next 8 days. So this book, because that on the mornings we use this book, and then the morning prayers we do this based on this book, and then the breakfast we do the offerings of the breakfast, the lunch, dinner, and so forth. And before that also we do that based on the compilation of the offering grace, or which we include here, I think page 300, I'm not too sure. And then meanwhile, we also read like 20 verses every time before we do a breakfast and lunch. So, and this will be read from this book. And who will lead the reading is going to be through rotation. Okay, this is one thing. And so meanwhile, how this book came into being, don't think that this book you can easily get from anywhere. You'll not get it anywhere. You'll not even get it from Amazon. You'll not get it. So this book, this is, but strangely, they say, when I said it's not even available anywhere in the world, not even in Amazon, somebody wrote to me saying that it's available in Nepal bookshop. And this girl was literally pleasantly surprised. How come this book came in the Nepal bookshop? Yeah, it was there. And she took a photograph and sent it to me. Okay, so this book, how this book came into being, this book is extremely important. Particularly, I would say that those people like Venerable Petronla and the Venerable here and the many of the seniors. So like them, those who have been doing the Dharma for many years, but they were actually craving to have a book like this. And when we first compiled this, and it was initially not as big as this, it was smaller in size. And then when these people who are into Dharma for the last 20, 30, 40 years, when they saw this, they were just coming up with the expression of tremendous, incredible elation, joy, that we've been looking for such a book and finally we found one. So this is, if you look at it through, study it yourself, you will come to know that this is very, very helpful. And there's no such the prepared book like this. It was many years of evolution. It started from 20 years ago when I was translating for His Holiness, when His Holiness was giving teachings based on the very standard, the textual sources. So I had to prepare the English version of that, because His Holiness would teach in Tibetan, and then I would have I would need to have that in English. And where not available, I have to do very quick the translation of these. And so many, you see that there are several of these short texts which I translated myself like 20 years ago when I was 20 years younger. You also 20 years younger then. So one time what happened was that somebody said, Geshe, take care, right? I said, Geshe, how are you? Take care. And I said, I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. The only problem is that I'm aging. And then that person sent me a condolence letter saying that Geshe, don't worry, it's fine, you have this. So it's not like she's not aging, right? Geshe is aging, she's not aging. When I say my age 20 years means you also age 20 years. It's just a way of reminding both sides, to make the most of one's life. Okay, so So those very important texts which His Holiness taught over the last, like I would say, I was when translating for His Holiness for like 6 years. So whatever His Holiness taught, those short texts which are available already available in English, I got them, otherwise I translated and gradually put them together. And also during the teachings of His Holiness, some very important verses which His Holiness uses in most of the teachings, I again put them together. So this is how this book initially was not that this big, and gradually it built up. So over the course of my own teaching, I see that, okay, this text from, I also remember His Holiness, my teachers, on the citing some important sources. I see if they're not too big, then we start to include them in this book. So this is how this book gradually became this size. So now, still this is not the final edition. We expect to have the final edition within the. Okay, I've been saying this for the last 5 years. Final, and then it never came. And the last time we sent the IT staff to the final editor, and I thought done, and still nothing is happening. Again, I checked what happened. Again, there's a further editing at the edits going. Okay, so this book is very precious. What I'm saying is that keep this with you, and some of them, like the Bega Tenzishuala, she brought her own copy, which you got it from how many years ago? 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago. She brought it, and some people might have 7 or 8 copies of these. 7 or 8 copies every time they come to the retreat. They come with left and right, empty-handed, left, right, keeping the book there in the house and got a new copy. And then likewise, they must have like 8 or 9 copies, some of them. The Pegala, the Tinshuala, she brought the one from her earlier the retreats, so she did not take it. Okay, so what I'm saying is that this is your copy. And but the text that we are doing today is not in this book, but I hope that you already got the soft copy of that. You do not get the soft copy. So I think the Joshua has a soft copy of that. So the others, we need to have it. If you don't have the text, then it's going to be very difficult for both of us. So you must have to have the soft copy, and those of you who don't have any other gadgets for these things, you have to have them printed. The Shambhala, you have it. The William, you have the hard copy?
Yes, on my email.
That's a soft copy, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we sent it by email to everybody.
Okay, make sure that you have the soft copy, because the soft copy or the hard copy, whatever. And some of you may prefer the printout. You can also have it printed. So without the text, it's going to be very difficult. Yeah. Okay. This is one thing. Then the next thing is the group discussion. So for these classes, I would say that some of the people, okay, Venerable Pedrula is well aware of, and then our Omarla, and then here we have the Carlton Shirvla, and then other seniors. So finally our job is what? Our job is these retreats, the studies, or whatever we do. Our job is to say, I hope that you will all agree with me. Our job is to make yourself happier person. To make it very simple. How many agree with me? It should be like this. If this is not the motive of whatever you're doing science, you're doing the college studies, university studies, and so forth. If these have nothing to do with making you happier person, then it's totally useless. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Yes. So what we're doing should have that that context, that it should be intended for you becoming happier happier, happier, happier. Okay, so with this in mind, so now the Buddha taught how to make yourself happier, happier, happier. Meanwhile, Charles Darwin said, no, this is not possible. Happier, happier, happier is not possible because we have instinctive emotions. Instinctive emotions such as anger. With anger, nobody is happy. But anger is necessary by Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin said, anger is necessary. Without anger, you will not know how to combat the competitors. You cannot compete with the competitor. If you don't compete with the competitor, you will die. Whosoever is the fittest will survive. Survival of the fittest. Others have to die. And the purpose of the species is to continue, to procreate, continue the species. That is the purpose of the species. This is what Charles Darwin said. So therefore, according to Charles Darwin, no, there's no solution. You cannot become happier, 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 happier. This is impossible. Somehow you should be unhappy. This is the way the existence should be like. But the Buddha said, no, that's not true. We all have the capacity to become happier, happier, happier. So you have to, if somebody says, yes, there's a way out, your job is to ask, hey, your job is to ask, how? What is the way out? What is the way out? You have to ask this question. You're getting it? So therefore the Buddha encouraged questions. Buddha encouraged analysis, inquiry. This is so important for us. So therefore, what I'm saying is that those of us who have already been into Dharma for a long time and being exposed to the different traditions, like retreat. This is a steady retreat. Usually retreat means a silent retreat yourself, on your own, reciting mantras, or just single shamatha meditation and so forth. The one kind of retreat. So this is like a steady retreat, and sometimes intensive courses, studies are being undertaken, and sometimes the prostration, muddle over. There are so many versions of the air, and those of us who are already into all these areas, who just they came in contact with all these different versions of the Dharma, then you realize that, you realize they're broadly speaking. So our job is what? To make your mind happier. But don't think that your body will become more and more young. Body will not become younger. Body will become older. That's for sure. But the mind can become happier. So the next question, how? This is a serious question. So for this, just to give a very quick overview of what is the answer to this how, is that finally when do we become happier? Okay, let's put it like this. When do we become happy? Although it can be temporary, but when do we become happy? There are two things. One is external factors. For example, like say somebody gives you a cheesecake. Hey, where is cheesecake there? Okay, there. Okay, atiti. Somebody gives you cheesecake or some presents. You feel very happy. This is from external. And then somebody genuinely expresses concern and affection, and that is internal. You feel that. You're getting it? So there's one external and one is internal too. So external, the moment somebody gives you cheesecake, and the next time it gives you 100 grams of cheesecake, and next time that person simple who gives you 100 grams of cheesecake expects 1,000 grams of cheesecake back. You will not be happy. You're getting it? Early happiness is very shallow. It can change drastically. You're getting it? You get something, it's like a business transaction. So there, you see that the moment you feel that it's a business transaction, instantly your ease dissolves. So this is not a reliable happiness. External happiness is not reliable. So what is happening? Where somebody genuinely expresses concern for you, genuinely express concern for you, then you can feel something inside that is so reliable. You're getting it? And let's say that, what is that? Archimedes. Who's Archimedes? Yes, a scientist. A scientist who ran out of the bathtub naked into the street, say, Eureka, right? Okay, why? Why he forgot that he was naked? Why? Because he had elation of joy, happiness. They were talking about elation of happiness because of the awakening. He discovered something. What is that? Buoyancy? So he discovered something. So that discovery is a cognitive awakening. So cognitive awakening again gives you an incredible sense of happiness. And the other one is sense of affection. Sense of affection. And then number 3 is that so number 3 is, just imagine that you are like, say, a piece of wool, piece of cotton, and the wind blows, and you want to stay very calm and peaceful. The wind blows, what will happen to the cotton? Cotton will be thrown away. Whereas if it is a metal like this, a solid metal like this, and the wind blows, it will not be blown away so easily. You're getting it? So there, the thing is that where you want, what is that metaphor? Just sitting very calm and peaceful. That is metaphor for you. Okay, when you're so tired, there are so many deadlines, things to do. What comes to your mind? Tell me, just instinctively, what comes to your mind? What kind of, there's stress that comes. And what do you wish? It's over. Okay, now I can chill out. Right? This is what we wish. What we wish. Okay, chill out. Then nobody can disturb me with deadline. Right? There should be no wind to blow me. That I can chill out, I can relax. So this is where your mind feels a calmness. When you're not affected by the external blows. So that a piece of cotton can easily be blown away, but the metal cannot be blown away. So, metaphorically speaking, so you want to become like a cotton or you become like a metal? Hey, tell me. Like a metal where you are not affected by the external wind. So likewise, we can train our mind. This has nothing to do with cognitive awakening, nothing to do with the affective expansion, but simply learning how to stay firm, mentally stay firm. That meditation is known as shamatha meditation, single-pointed meditation. So that also gives you a sense of freedom, that no external factors can blow you. It gives you a freedom. When external factors, they blow you very easily, you don't have the freedom. Lack of freedom is misery. Misery is samsara. You're getting it? So we see that, broadly speaking, we see that where there's a cognitive awakening, there's incredible joy coming. And you were very confident. Look at Albert Einstein. So look at his photographs. So sometimes he sits like this in the photograph with the Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr, a genius. And for example, if we are to be with Charles Darwin, do we sit like this? Like this, in a very chilling out, what is that, chill out state? We'll not do like this, because we don't have this sense of confidence. So whereas he says like this, why? Because of confidence. What gave him this confidence? Cognitive awakening. You're getting cognitive. He knows that all the people in the world, they are like small children. This is what the confidence that he has. I can say anything that that comes to my mind. Everybody will listen to me. This is confidence that he has. So this cognitive awakening gives him so incredible sense of the ease, number one. Number two is the compassion, universal compassion. Okay, let's first talk about compassion. Compassion to yourself, compassion to your family members. Keep expanding it. Keep expanding it. Say, a mother who loves her family members so much, full stop, versus His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who loves. Okay, His Holiness is alive today. Mother Teresa, look at her confidence. Look at, do you think it's because that she's brilliant, she's Nobel laureate in physics or chemistry? Like, what is that? The chemistry Nobel laureate lady? Marie Curie. Madame Curie. So do you think that the Mother Teresa is like Madame Curie with the intellectually, what is IQ level very high? No, but she's extremely confident. What gave her the confidence? Because the compassion expands. Compassion is so expansive that anybody comes who is very divisive or whatever, for her it's like a small child. Because this compassion gives you so much confidence. And then finally, that the stability, training your mind to be stable. Again, this gives you so much of confidence, that you become like a metal, that no wind can blow you. So this gives you confidence. So that gives you ease. So broadly speaking, we see that these are the three things. These are three means by which to make you happier, happier, happier. And how these three things make you happy is very different. Happiness, what is that? Is it a mental experience? Is it experience, mental experience, or what is that? Is it intellectual understanding or experience? Happiness. It's experience. We're getting it? It's experience. So therefore, on the experience level, the ease that you get out of cognitive awakening and the ease that you get out of the expansion of compassion, the ease that you get out of the building the stability of your mind, the quality of the ease is very different. The quality of the ease is very different among these three. The quality is very different. You're getting it? Okay, so with this in mind, okay, so these are the three areas. So with this in mind, why I'm saying all these things is that, for example, like Venerable and many seniors here, they've seen the whole world of the Dharma, different practices. So from there, say if we need to maintain, we need to build the open mind, maintain open mind. This is so important. Don't think that whatever you're learning here, this is the best. Don't think that what you're doing in one place A, this is the best. Don't think that the one that you're doing in place C, this is the best. Don't think like this. Maintain an open mind. You're getting it? Don't be quick to reject. Don't be quick to accept. Learn. Don't accept easily. Don't reject easily. Why not accept easily? Oh, this must be right, because he's coming from very authentic, lineage and so forth. No, this is too much. This is a blind faith. So you learn something and accept it very quickly. You can become vulnerable to blind faith. Then people can sway you very easily. And many of the centers, not many, some centers, they have these problems. They have fundamentalism, fanatism. In every religion, there's a problem. So therefore, the blind faith is a major crisis in humanity, number one. So where you reject quickly, there's also a problem. Because, for example, say the relativity theory or quantum physics, you listen to the lecture and it doesn't make sense to you and you reject it, it's your problem. Your problem meaning that you suffer, because these are incredibly profound knowledge. You don't have the capacity to understand it now. But later on, if you persevere with this study, you will reach a point where you will appreciate it, and that the ease that you get out of appreciating the relativity theory and quantum physics would be far, 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 far more profound in comparison with whatever is that we've experienced thus far. You're getting it? So therefore, in a way, you're giving a death blow to yourself, saying that, okay, now your ease is limited, you cannot go beyond, because you just rejected whatever you have not understood at that point. So what you reject, you are very definite that this is wrong, then you reject it. So when you're not certain, don't accept it, don't reject it, learn it. For example, if I say E equals mc square, no, E equals mc cube. Cube meaning instead of 2, 3. E equals mc cube in today. Einstein said E equals mc square, but it is proven, it is modified later. E equals mc cube. Okay, what will you do? Some may say, no, what he said is wrong. Some may say, oh, maybe this new development. Don't be quick. Don't be quick. Okay, he said something very different. I never heard this before. But I cannot trust it. No, I will reject it. If it is correct, then I may become very backward. If I accept easily, it may be wrong. You know, he can say anything. It can be wrong. How can I trust him? So, what do? You subject what is said to evaluation. You subject this to evaluation. You're getting it? Subject to evaluation. But you have to remember what I said. When I say you have to learn what I said, doesn't mean that you have accepted. So if somebody says 2 plus 3 equals 10, it's not correct. But I have to learn what he said. So when I go out, I tell somebody that, okay, he said something wrong. What did he say? Right? So I don't know. What did he say? He said something wrong. What something? Instead, I say, he said 2 plus 3 equals 10. This is what I've learned. You're getting it? I got the information, but I did not pay heed to it. So you have to get the information. Don't take it too seriously. Don't accept it. Don't reject it quickly. Don't accept it quickly. Subject this to evaluation. And if you are dead sure, you accept it. If you're dead sure it's not acceptable, it's wrong, discard it at that point. Okay, this is something that we need to do. So therefore, this is what we're doing is the next 8 days is going to be extremely cognitively very active exercise. Therefore, usually for the retreat, silence is encouraged. But this retreat is a study retreat where the cognitive awakening is encouraged. Other retreats, majority of the retreats, silence, maintain silence, maintain silence, maintain silence. So this is primarily to change the cotton to the metal. You're getting it? Not to change the cognitive IQ 10 to 200. So what we are doing is to increase our cognitive, the IQ level. You're getting it? So for that matter, you have to keep your brain active, steady. So where silence may not be too encouraged. In other words, during the break time, you discuss all what we have studied. Don't talk about Hollywood, Bollywood, and so forth. Right? Don't talk about these things. What is your cheesecake? You shall talk about cheesecake. Where can I get cheesecake? Don't talk like this. You're getting it? Talk only related to the topics which we are studying. This is a great opportunity. And particularly, I would say that those seniors, they sense the value of this after going to different places. They sense that this cognitive awakening is very important. Cognitive awakening, but this is by this cognitive awakening per se, just be the cognitive awakening. It can also it's also not a full story. Cognitive awakening is very important, mean by expanding your heart. Particularly expanding your heart, how to expand your heart? Through the cognitive awakening. If you can relate this to the expanding your heart, this is extremely powerful. You're getting it? Extremely powerful. And then these two must be supported by let's say the shamatha meditation, stability meditation, which for example like 10-day Vipassana meditation, Goenkaji's 10-day Vipassana meditation, which is very extremely good. but some people not that, everybody is prepared for this. Majority, let's say the 60% of the people can fit into this practice well, but it is quite an intense practice. And some people who have some, what do you call it, say in Tibetan we call it lung problem. Lung problem is like, it's not like man, this is, and okay, anger, the lung is slightly different from anger. Anger is kongdo. Mid lung sawayorda. Lung sawayor, there's anger. Okay, so the lung, we need to check with the doctor, Tibetan doctor, how do you translate this? Because that in English, is a little different. In English, again, in English vocabularies, we see different, the vocabularies used like depression, anxiety, panic attack, and then in worst cases, the severe mental disorder. By the way, we have a psychologist here, a doctorate.
Stress manifesting in different ways.
Yes, so in Tibetan we call it lung. There is a manifested state, not the what triggers the manifestation. So Western psychology, the stress triggers. Yes, that's true. So the point is that so we require the multiple the facets of the practice, not only the pure cognitive, and also not only just the affective of the expanded compassion. Compassion must be supported by the wisdom, cognitive awakening, and then these two must be supported by the stability practice, and alongside other practices like Nyungne is a fasting practice and so forth. This is also very helpful. But some people, just go in one direction. That is where we go wrong. So therefore, I say it is like enjoying good food. Only bread is not good food, right? And also only, what is that? Soup is also not good. Only vegetable is not, we require holistic, the components in the diet. So likewise, to make your mind healthy, we require the holistic on the practice in these areas. So these are three big areas. In this connection, why I'm saying all these things is because it's this retreat. Sometimes we do retreat where all the three elements are intact, but this is particularly with the cognitive awakening. As such, we emphasize so much on the group discussion. So we'll have group discussions. You're getting it? Group discussions. And the, how many people?
So we are about 25.
Okay, let's say 25. We can break into like 3 groups. 3 groups will be good. And then the Venerable Petrona, you can identify 3 seniors. Yes. So 3 seniors, you identify them. And anyway, and particularly, see, in each group, we can put like 2 seniors. That'll be good. Okay. And of course, we know the game. The seniors, don't be too actively asking questions in the beginning. Let the newcomers ask questions. As seniors, take your responsibility primarily to give answers. You're getting it? Give answers. And seniors, whereas the newcomers, they say ask questions more, because if the seniors ask questions, they'll ask the complicated questions, and the newcomers will feel demoralized. Okay, they know so much, and we don't know anything. We could not even understand what the question that they're asking, so they may feel so demoralized. So the seniors, we should be a little sensitive to this part and feel compassion towards them. Meanwhile, there can be many things that we can learn from the newcomers also. Okay, this is one thing. And then for the silence, what we encourage is that after the dinner, till the next morning, until the next morning breakfast, maintain silence. Maintain silence. And then I would say that because that this is a very active the cognitive exercise, you'll feel that you can feel fatigue and tired very easily. You can feel fatigued and tired because that your brain is will be made to think very differently from how you think normally. So therefore, it's very tiring, and you will feel easily tired. And then at the end of the day, meaning that within 2-3 days time, some of you may feel that, okay, I don't know what happened. I feel so tired, relaxed. Okay, yes, this is what is bound to happen. If it does happen, don't worry at all. This is your brain getting opportunity to think very differently. And that way, new synaptic connections are going to be created, and then many of the synaptic connections which related to the intellectual exercises will be stabilized. That will be very helpful for us. Okay, and so therefore, in short, that back to your room. Don't spend too much time on your gadgets, your watching movies and talking to friends. Okay, they don't do it too much because that you're already tired because of this. Even the class, attending class, you will feel that it's very tiring, and you may think, okay, I'm a little tired. I may watch a movie, or I may talk to chat with other people. If you do that, that also consumes a lot of energy. So your energy is consumed twice as much as the twice of what you usually is consumed in a day. So therefore, you will really feel tired, and you may not get the energy to understand what is being taught in the class the next day. So therefore, make sure that you get maximum rest. This is very important. And when you're doing the break time, say the communication with always do some discussions on these topics, and you have, particularly the beginners, you have questions, bring them even during say break times. Okay, this is one thing. And the timetable, distribute, not distributed.
It's put up on in key places, including outside the compound room.
Okay, so ideally speaking, we have one group discussion in the morning, one group discussion in the afternoon. These two are compulsory. And then the evening, after dinner, that is optional. That is one group, only one group in the Gomba. And then anyone who is a senior can lead, and you know how to lead. They say, of course, we are not supposed to give the lecture. Instead, and say just open up the discussion, and if somebody talks a lot, then the senior or the group leader, you try to say the manage it accordingly. So to make sure that one person does not speak for like 10 minutes. Okay, so that as many will get the opportunity to speak. That's very important. Okay. And then there's a morning practice. I'm not too sure. The seniors, they already have their own personal practice, and the newcomers, I'm not too sure on if the morning practice is recommendable. I'm not too sure. Okay, the morning practice, usually the morning practice we get up. So we come here like 5:45. 5:45. We come here, and then we do 5 minutes of prostration, light offering, sit down, do prayers, do meditation, and so forth. And why we are doing this is primarily for people to learn. Usually what happens is that after such classes, after such retreats, towards the end of the retreat, people ask, how can we do the follow-up of these and the practices? They're very helpful. And what do you do to continue with this practice? So it's not just give the explanation and then you know how to know. It requires to see, that you have to see how the practice is being done, so that it becomes easier for you. So it's for this reason that we are doing the morning practices, and I'm not sure about this time. I'm not sure. Otherwise, we can do, because that the morning practices, they are quite serious, quite intense, I would say. Quite intense, and they I'm not too sure what to do. Okay, How many of you don't mind getting away? Okay, getting about what time you would get up, that's your story. But how many of you don't mind coming at 5:45? Raise hands. Okay, what about others who did not raise hands? Not sure? Don't be scared. 5:45 is not the... Okay, so what we do is that the... okay, let us do one thing. 5:45, we'll do it, and let's not make it too rigid. But I would say that the try best, at least to see what is being done in that morning session. Okay, so with this, now we will do a little bit of the initial prayers. And as I said in the beginning, that even the prayers that we're doing here, we need to know the meanings. And we need to also know the reason why we are doing these things. We need to know all these things. So, in other words, let us take the maximum advantage of our being together here, that whatever related to Buddhism or your life, you have questions, you have, say, issues and so forth. Let us take the opportunity, particularly there are seniors who can greatly help you in your group discussions, ask questions, and outside the group discussion also you can ask these questions one-on-one to your seniors. And if some questions are really you think would be very beneficial to others, the seniors you judge, and then you can bring them on my table. Okay, so this is what we can do. So with this mind, let's turn to page 3. And I may as well say, even though you have no idea about what we're doing, but just as a part of knowing the culture, okay, this is the culture, this is how they do. So this is, if you can learn, that's also going to be quite interesting for you, and then you can have a lot of things to share with other people. Okay, I went to Thosamling, the retreat, and I was just wondering what it is like. But I learned that there are many of you who are doing the Nalanda courses, NDC 2, NMC 2, NDC 5, raise hands, or NCC and the NIC who associate with the Nalanda studies. Okay, there are many of you. Okay, yes. So majority of you already know what we're doing. Okay, with this mind, visualize all the enlightened masters who are the inspiration for your the cognitive awakening and your expansion, the expansion of your compassion, and to build a very meaningful life. And also visualize all sentient beings with you, including your parents, your children, all of the members, and all sentient beings with you, and imagine that you are inspiring everybody to engage in this practice and studies and practice, so that you and others become happier and happier. Okay, page 3. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And through the great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And through the great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha
by my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Chuda Tsoge Chona Amla Chanjo Pardo Dane Gyakso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Sonamgi Dola Benjire Sanje Dubara Isho Sanje Chuda Tsoge Chona Amla Chanjo Pardo Dane Gyakso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Sonamgi Dola Benjire Sanje Dubara Isho Sanje Chola Soge Chona Amla Chanjo Pardo Dane Gyakso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Sonamgi Dola Benjire Sanje Dubara Isho. Okay, let me explain this verse, the Tibetan verse. You may be wondering, what are we reading? What is this language? This is a Tibetan language in English, what do you call it? The transliteration. Okay, so what you read in English first, that is actually translation of the Tibetan. And first I'll give the word meaning of the Tibetan, and then later you try to correlate the Tibetan and English. That it'll become easier for you. Okay. Sangye is the Buddha, Sangye. Ch is Dharma, Buddha Dharma. Tang is and. Tsok is assembly or collection, accumulation. So here is the assembly. Tsok, ki is the linking word. Ki is the linking word. Chok is the supreme. Chok and tsok are different. Chok is supreme. Nam is these. La is to the Buddha, Dhamma, and the supreme of the assembly, to these. Changchup is enlightenment. Changchup. Pardu is until. Dark is I. Ni is the linking word. Kyap Suchi. Kyap Suchi is go for refuge. Kyap is the refuge. Kyap Suchi is go for refuge. Suchi is go for. Kyap is the refuge. So, how English and Tibetan, these two work slightly differently. English, so which is a better one? There's no better. It's just how the language develops. They say in English, what begins in English, this is the same word in Tibetan, generally speaking. In Tibetan, it ends with that word. What is the beginning in Tibetan? What is the end in Tibetan? Is the beginning in English. What is the end in English? Is the beginning of the Tibetan. For example, say, I go for refuge, Sanje Chua Dan Sogo Shum Changju Bardu Da, that is I. So in Tibetan, it comes first. In Tibetan, in English, that comes first. I go for refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha until enlightenment. So this is where the two languages differ. And those people who are into translation, the exercises, you know how the language works. But those of us who have no exposure to translation, the field, you may feel a little confusing, but this is how the language works. Every language, say the Tibetan language and the Sanskrit language, these two are very similar. And the European languages, they are more similar. They're rooted to either Latin or Greek. So they are similar in the structure, but the Tibetan and Sanskrit, they are more similar, and English is more rooted to Latin and the Greek. With the Tibetan, it's very different. But Tibetan language is very interesting. It is not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Tibetan language, if you get the right teacher, right environment, you can learn it very, very fast. And it's an extremely rich language. Rich language, not because the Tibetans, they are very smart. It's because the Dharma is Nalanda Dharma is so rich that the Tibetan language is not the language per se. The later, after 7th century, the language is designed just to accommodate the translation of the rich Dharma concepts from Nalanda. So therefore, Tibetan language naturally becomes extremely rich and very precise.
extremely precise. Because how precise the language becomes, it involves many elements. For example, in Tibet, why the Tibetan language becomes extremely precise with respect to understanding Dharma is because that the king was involved. The king was involved. He used his sovereign power to decide whose translation is good, which all the vocabularies must be settled, must be established properly, and then this unanimous, he started some university program. University and the whole department translation commissioned by the king to make sure that the translations, they are very uniform. Now with the English translation, say there are the translators coming, they use different words. There's no one force to make it uniform. But English is a beautiful language, I would say. It's also very rich, it's amazing. Okay, so the next, the third line, Da again is a self, I, Da, ki. Ki is a linking word. Jin is a generosity. Jin is a generosity. Sok is etc. Jin sok. Kipa is done. Kipe. Tsok is the accumulation. Tsok. Namki. Nam is these, which we learned before. Namki is a link word. Do la, last line. Do is a sentient being. Do, sentient being. La is for. Do la or two. La can be two or four. Here, for. Do la. Pen is benefit. Pen is benefit. Chir is for the sake of, in order to. In order to. Chir. Sangye, again same, Buddha. Dupa is accomplish, attain. Shok is may. So in English, you say the word may first. May, in Tibetan, the may comes last. Dubar shok. So this is different language. Okay, so it says, Sangye chodo sogo chonam la, to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, or to Buddha, Dhamma, the Supreme Assembly, referring to the Sangha. Chanju bardu dane gyabsu che. I go for refuge until I attain enlightenment. By the accumulation of the generosity and so forth done by me, to benefit the beings, may I become Buddha. Okay, this is the meaning. Okay, now we'll read this 2 times and see if you understand, if you get some sense out of reading this in Tibetan. Sanje joda soge chona amla chanjo bado dane gyabso che dage jinso kebe sonam ge dola benjir sanje jubara isho sanje joda soge chona amla chanjo bado dane gyabso che dage jinso kebe sonam ge dola benjir sanje jubara isho. Okay, next verse is very important, very precious, and we have to understand this. If we want to stop all the tears of samsara, all the tears, all the pains, if you want to stop this, you have to understand this meaning. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the Supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all lead here seeking pacific and complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths, courses, those helping migrate achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which help subdue by expanded varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by ultimate to benefit sentient beings, the teachers, to guard and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, we'll start this mantra. And
we also need to know the meaning of the mantra. Meaning of the mantra, I'll explain later. And we'll recite this and we'll stop here for the group discussion. And the group discussion, today we have not much to discuss. So you introduce yourself, to know each other. That's good enough. And then meanwhile having tea and group discussion together. Yeah. And those of us who know how to recite this mantra, most of you do not recite, which means that you know the mantra. Recite this. And those who are first time seeing this mantra, listen to us and join us. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vate mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vate mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vate mahashramanaye swaha. We will read the meaning of the mantra in English and later I'll explain word to word later. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, we'll stop here. And yes.
Ishra, so for the discussion group, can we just form A, B, and C? So Omar and Ashwin would be the seniors there. So can you all just say your Yudranla, just say one, two, your three, 4, Pega, 5. Say
Five.
Your 6, Chelsea,
Chelsea,
7 and 8. So now then this group here, the middle group with these two is the seniors, and there are more. So yeah, you want to start 1, yeah, 2, behind you 3, 4, Min, 6, your friend, 7, and you 8. And then this group here, we will form, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 9. So there's one more. Will that work? So
That's perfect. So what I would say is that the Joshua is there,
yeah,
and then the
Joshua and me would be
okay,
there.
then perfect.
And these two,
Okay,
those two of you here,
1,
Ashwin and Umar.
2, and also this group is quite rich.
Yeah, so maybe
Min
we
is
could
there,
change
William is there. Okay, 4. So we have the Pegadan is there, Chelsea there, Ashwin there, Omar there. 4. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this group 1
A.
and
This is B.
this is B
Yes.
and C.
I'll ask you all to write your name, so you just make sure it's clean and clear. And if we need to change, then I'll show
Wonderful.
you.
And the group where? The
so
place.
there's one group who can be in the Gompa. A wants to be in the Gompa.
A in the Gomba, yes.
B can be in the dining room, in the nuns' dining room on the left-hand side. And C can be upstairs in the classroom.
Library, classroom, yes.
Classroom. If it is raining, otherwise y'all can also go outside.
Yes,
but if it's raining, these are the inside spots. Otherwise, you can go around the tree and that, and enjoy yourself. So tea should be ready in the dining room. So go grab your treat. Yeah, the only thing is be careful for those sitting in the Gompa with your cup of tea. That's the
Yes.
One second. So Tenzilda just informed the office wants like a group picture as soon as possible. So it would be great if we could have like group picture with her.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Where? Here in the Gomba. Okay. Both. Yes. Huh? Huh? Yes, yes. So we'll do here as well as outside, both.
We just need to take this out.
Okay. Yes.